Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Cyrus. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I am in the psychology field. So psychology is one of my biggest passions. Being an American, we are constantly, constantly being surrounded by indoctrination, which is the topic I'm going to talk about today. We see it in religion, we see it in politics, we see it in cults, and we even see it sometimes in education. A lot more recently, we have been seeing all of these things, Facebook, the news, literally every time a politician opens their mouth nowadays, it pretty much seems like everything people are saying right now is to get you on their side. So I'm going to talk about the specific points of indoctrination, how exactly you get indoctrinated, and then how to avoid being indoctrinated. So, from the Cambridge Dictionary, says that it's the process of repeating a belief or an idea to someone until they believe it without question or criticism. So there are a lot of variables that go into this definition, but this is just the generic definition for you to kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. Indoctrination is sort of like a type of brainwash. Let's talk about the difference between indoctrination and education, because you can have indoctrination in education, but not all education is indoctrination. Basically, the difference is education promotes critical thinking, freedom of thought, and an openness to alternative views. If you are having a conversation with someone and they are trying to tell you A, B, and C, but not giving you the X, Y, and Z reason, they're trying to convince you of whatever they're saying. There are a lot of things that indoctrination leads to. So you'll have, like I said, suppression of critical thinking. They will not want you to think outside of the box. They do not want you to think too deeply into whatever they're trying to tell you. They are telling you, this is the fact. That is all you need to know. They like to manipulate your emotions. They use social pressure and isolation. They make people vulnerable, and they want your unquestioning acceptance. So there is a process that, well, anyone that does indoctrination going through, whether it be someone like a political leader or certain religious leaders or even cult members, do in order to get you on their side about whatever it is that they're preaching or telling you about. So the number one thing that they're going to do is they're going to control the situation, or they're going to control the environment. Sometimes they will try to give meaning to an event, like yesterday you almost got hit by a car and you didn't, so I prayed for you and now I'm the Messiah. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot of variables that go into this. So I am just going to talk about a lot of the processes that people go through when they are trying to indoctrinate other people. So almost every form of indoctrination has some sort of godlike or holy figure that they push and follow as, you know, the one. The one who comes up with the rules, the one who everyone praises. And the first thing they're going to preach is collectivism. So we are a group, we are a family, everything you do needs to be for us, we are one. They're going to give you information, and when you ask those questions, they're going to have a preset of answers that are pretty vague, but should pretty much take you off the scent, or meant to take you off the scent anyway. You will have information deprivation, so they are going to completely control the environment around you and what information you get and what information that they don't want you to have. So they will try to limit your talking to people outside of the group or looking up information on the internet about the group. or talking to your families about it, or pretty much anything. They try to hush it for the most part. Once they get you into the group, they do different things to reduce your resistance. So they can either starve you or put you on really strict exercises or sleep deprivation, pretty much controlling your day in and out and taking away the essentials that make you pretty much think and rebel against whatever they're trying to get you to do. So at this point, they have been implementing different prayers or sayings, repeating them over and over again, trying to get you to say them. A perfect example of this would be in A Handmaid's Tale, how they say, like, blessed be the fruit, or the eye, or whatever, the Almighty. And then they have like their rituals that they do, with trying to pregnant with the whatever with the babies. Um, you know, Pretty much what the commanders do in all aspects is the perfect example of indoctrination. They have a holy figure, the man in their household, that is supposed to be like, the sperm donor, the father, the man of the household, the commander, and then they have the rituals and they have their sayings and all of that stuff. Something that they really like to do is to make you feel guilty. So you are always constantly surveilling yourself and basically editing your own thoughts, to keep yourself on path. And at some point, after all of this, resocialization happens. You're going to start to adopt new norms and new beliefs. If there's a different way that they speak or a new language, you're going to start to adopt that more. You're going to start to adopt the practices. You're going to start to live and breathe whatever it is that they're trying to sell you. Their main point is to starve you of your free will and of your individuality. They want you to be a part of their group, following what they are saying and not asking any questions about it. There's a book called 1984 by George Orwell, and in the book, they are creating a new language called Newspeak. The older individuals can use the normal English language, but they also have Newspeak. And the younger generations, they are just going to start teaching Newspeak to, so they can completely eliminate the language that people would have to even go up against Big Brother and the regime. So if you do not have the words to fight, how are you going to fight? They are completely eliminating sentences and just making like one single word represent, yes, I am going to work, or no, I am not hungry. They're completely eliminating sentence structure at that point. And this is also a perfect example of indoctrination. It's exactly what Big Brother did in 1984 to take over the country. And a lot of times in this, they create a them versus us mentality. So anyone inside this group is correct, they know the truth, they are doing them, whatever, and then everyone on the outside are guilty, or they're sinners, or they're going to hell, or they're wrong, they don't know the divine truth, I don't know, they're all vaccinated idiots, whatever. A lot of times the leaders will also have extremely bland statements for when they're asked questions like, it'll all be revealed in time, or it's all a part of God's plan. A lot of people that are trying to indoctrinate, so mainly at this point I'm talking mostly about what would be classified as cults, but indoctrination is literally what cults do to get you into their cult. A lot of them use trance-like methods like meditation or monotonous singing, speaking in tongues, visualizations, and even like controlled breathing exercises. A lot of these processes can actually alter brain activity, which is why they're used during therapies to get you through trauma. But what they're doing are taking these things and they're trying to make you more susceptible to, again, their concepts. And at this point, you're completely in an echo chamber. Even if you are on social media still, all of your algorithms are pointing to stuff that you're liking, stuff you're commenting on, stuff that you're looking up. If you are, for example, a Democrat or a Republican, most of your page, most of the stuff that you see, all of the people that are around you, most of the stuff that you talk about are going to be within your ideals. And when you are completely cut off from outside ideas, it makes you more susceptible and manipulated to those concepts. With being indoctrinated, obviously, to get you into the group, they are very much manipulating you and using a bunch of psychological methods to get you into this group. So obviously, it is going to be traumatic. It's going to hurt you. It's going to damage you. And there's a lot of negative repercussions for being indoctrinated into groups. So when you are being indoctrinated, they are slowly putting a veil over top of your mind and completely rewriting everything that you know. If you are being indoctrinated to a religion, you have this new figure that you believe is the Holy One or Jesus reincarnated or whatever, and everything he is telling you is your new truth, only for the veil to be ripped off, and you learn that everything that you have dedicated your recent life to has been a lie. Your friends, your family that you still talk to, the doctrine, it is all just a lie. Imagine how that could just completely rip away your identity. It's one thing to indoctrinate adults, but there's even worse psychological issues for children that are indoctrinated. Because as you are growing up, there are specific stages that you are supposed to be hitting. When you are indoctrinated, you are being given an identity. You are being given a set of ideals. This is something growing up you are supposed to learn on your own. So by taking this away from someone when they do become older and to get away from the indoctrination and learn the truth, they are going to have to completely refine themselves. Or, I mean, not even refine, they're going to have to completely just find themselves from fresh. It's one thing if you are an adult and you had a point that you can go back to and restart at, but to completely start new from something that you were supposed to do at the age of 10 is just, it's stunting your growth. I mean, that's just, it's stunting your growth. It also makes you more susceptible to manipulation. So even if you are to get out of the cult or whatever, you have spent a lot of time just molding your mind to what other people are saying. So you're most susceptible to manipulation. I mean, if you spend a lot of time not really thinking for yourself and just listening to what other people are saying, I mean, sometimes victims will go from believing, their holy figure or whatever to just believing whatever, I don't know, the next person that comes along says, a friend or a parent or, a future significant other. And that doesn't always make a good situation because honestly, not everyone's a good person. So a lot of people like to repeat. So, according to Bandura, when emotional awards and punishments are tied to ideological behavior during sensitive development phases, internalization becomes deep and durable. Resistance becomes cognitively inaccessible, and disobedience psychologically destabilizing. Like I said, when you are a child and they give you that identity, that is literally the core of who you are, and you were never anyone else. This stunts your growth, it stunts your emotions, it stunts you becoming a person, it's going to stunt your love life, it's going to stunt your relationships. And it's sad to say, but oftentimes in indoctrination, violence is normalized. So if you grew up being it, or seeing others, adults, or your kids, or whatever have you, I mean, when you grow up around people constantly being violent, that's going to be your new normal. So let's say that you were indoctrinated as a child all through teenage years until you're a young adult. Now you suddenly, everything you've known your entire life is a lie. You are trying to find someone new, or trying to find yourself. You find a new boyfriend, however, he is verbally and physically abusive, which has already been normalized. He manipulates you, he gaslights you, which has already been normalized. This is what I was talking about earlier. People sometimes fall back into the same patterns without even realizing it. If you're more susceptible to it, you're more likely to do it. You can have a repressed sense of moral agency, you can have emotional dissociation, and you can even often put your and you can even often put others before yourself, because you've always had that collective, us as a group put others before me, because what's best for the group is best for me, kind of thing. Unfortunately, nowadays it is very hard to avoid indoctrination. So I think that the number one thing I can recommend is to critically think and just fact check. Now, I'm not saying to go on to Facebook or Fox 8 News and fact check. I'm saying to like literally just at least go into Google and maybe just read through like 5 to 10 random articles or pages about the subject. Maybe even like just go on Reddit and see what people are personally saying about it, just to get a personal aspect of it. But definitely don't read whatever on Facebook. Do not have your Uncle Bob from down the street tell you, that the world is ending on, I don't know, August 29th of 2025, and, you know, give him $2,000. Whatever. Do some research. It's good to recognize coercive tactics. A lot of times, people who are indoctrinating likes to use neuro linguistic programming, which is literally what people use when they're hypnotizing you, to get you drawn in. They understand how to read body language and how to speak to what you're reacting to pull you into what they need. They are glorified salesmen. They are taking salesman tactics and they are selling you their product. They are selling you God. They are selling you Putin. They are selling you Trump. They are selling you Bill Clinton. They are selling you, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that people indoctrinate about. White people rule, whatever. And another thing is to support freedom of the press. Look for people that are putting in the time and effort and actually fact checking themselves, and use those resources. You do not have to use Aunt Deb on Facebook talking about, alligator Alcatraz right now. You can just like go on to Google and like do your own research. It is okay if someone says something to you and you go and fact check it. But what I'm saying is in the holy year of 2025, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, because news be lying nowadays. The dang president lies. I mean, people be making stuff up. Literally, the entire administration is just making up facts. There are religious people making up facts. There's a lot going on. So all I'm saying is please take everything with a grain of salt. Triple check your sources. And if you think it is too good to be true, honestly, sis, it might be. I just want to say thanks for hanging out this whole video. I hope you learned a thing or two about indoctrination and, well, pretty much being inducted into a cult. Um, if you want to talk about it, if you want to talk about anyone in particular, or, you know, If you want to talk about indoctrination in recent history, in education, in the politics, in the religion, go ahead and drop a comment below. Go ahead, give me a like. If you liked my video, hit subscribe. Come around next week, see what I got to offer. Again, thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope you're having a good day.